Phenomena. Phenomena. Phenomena.
Hey, hi everybody. We're going to try and wrap up the whole flitter series on this one. I'm not sure if we're going to or not, but we'll do our best. So I'm going to pick right up to where we left off. Last time we were doing this, we had it to this point. We were able to add flits right into here. And so let's just do another one real quick. This is another test again. Oh. That's not what I meant to do. Alright. Let's try that again. Looks like I gotta start the server. Alright, right off the bat I'm not even prepared. So here we go. Okay. Alright, let's do another test, update. So there we go, we have another one. So the first thing I want to do is learn how to do this. Now, I haven't done this before. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, so we're going to go ahead and try it, see how to do it together. So hopefully I won't look dumb. I'll be able to figure it out. So, all right. The first thing I'm going to do is use jQuery. I'm going to install jQuery because that is what I'm most comfortable with. So to do that, I'm going to install the JRails plugin. The JRails plugin can be found right here at Aaron Shee's GitHub account. And let's go ahead and install that. Okay, and what this does is it installs all of the jQuery files that we need, and it also overrides the helpers that we use, so that we can use our prototype helpers within here, and yet still have jQuery instead of prototype and Scriptaculous. So let's go to our views and our layout, and let's update our layout here to include our JavaScript. So JavaScript include tag, and I think if we just do default, I can't remember if it's default or defaults. I hardly ever actually use that tag because I usually like more control over what I put into my code, and I don't often use all of the JavaScript. So as you can see, if we look at our source code here, we're including now jQuery, jQuery UI, and JRails, and also application, of course. So okay, now we got that set. Let's go ahead and put in our placeholder. So our placeholder can be found in home index. So right here we have the H3, and it's currently just sitting on top. We're going to change the style on this. I'm doing some inline style sheets here, which some people don't do, but you know, if I know I'm only doing it in one spot, I really don't see the problem. So, well, you know, you CSS guys might yell at me, but you know what? I do believe in getting the job done, and this is how I get it done. So, anyway, so we got our 140. Let's check out the style. So that looks like it's actually a different font, and I'm not sure what font it is, but let's just go ahead and say font weight bold, color looks like maybe a 333, maybe a little lighter than that. Yeah, a lot lighter than that. So let's do AAA. Let's try that. Oops. Okay, there we go. Maybe just make it a little bit bigger. Let's try an H2. No, let's go back to H3 and we'll just do a manual override on the size. So font size is 20 pixels, and let's try 24. There we go. Well, let's go down to 23. I'm sorry about nitpicking about this, but okay, good enough. So we have 140 there. So what I need to do is give this H3 an ID so that I can override the count once I start doing this. So ID equals, let's call it char count. All right, so now that we have that, what I can do with this, and I believe maybe it's a preference within here, but it should be able to have, with Safari I should be able to, oh, you know what, it's a command line. So let's say the Firebug for Safari, and I think this is where I read it. It gives you a little command that you can run, and it will, no, not that one. Okay, maybe here. There it is right here. So this command right here is what you can run in a terminal, and what that'll do is it'll turn on your developer tools for Safari. So alright, let's go ahead and quit out of here and start it up again, and we'll go to localhost. So, and I'll just log in real quick. Now once we're logged in, they have an inspect element, and there we go, that's what I wanted. So you can see that we're able to view the elements within here, and I'm wondering if it has a way for me to run a script, and I am not sure. You know, I'm just used to using Firefox on this, so, but I've got too much personal info on my Firefox, so I'm just going to improvise. Alright, no worries. So here we go. Let's get back to it. Okay, and then on our text area, the name is message, and let's see if it actually gave it an ID. Let's see here. View source. Let's do a search for text area, and then here we go. Our ID is flit message. So what we want to do here probably is, let's go to our actually I'm just going to put the script right in here for now. Style equals JavaScript, sorry, not style, text equals, sorry, not text, type equals text slash JavaScript. There we go. Alright, so we have that. So just so that we can make sure it works, why don't we just do a little function here. We'll try this. You touched me. Aha, fun, fun. Alright. No, that didn't work. Let's see here. Maybe it's not changed. Let's load up the jQuery documentation. Okay. Let's go to events, and in here we have change. So, oh, I know why it's not working yet. Let's see here. Click. The reason it's not working is because we need to add a thing that I always forget at the beginning. So I know that Ryan Bates covered it in a recent screencast. So I actually went here a couple of times this weekend to grab this little piece of code right there. I probably should remember it, but I usually don't. So this is what causes it to be loaded at the very end of the page. So after everything else loads, that will load this JavaScript. So now let's give it a shot. Click. You touched me. All right. So we know that's working. So let's go ahead and do change. I thought that's what it said on here. Change. Well, maybe my a TextMate bundle doesn't include that. Anyway, so let's try it again. No, that didn't work. All right, let's find out how we do this. All right, well, let's do a key down. Maybe that'll work. And let's try that again. Reload. There we go. All right. So now that we have that working, let's go back here and say, okay, well, now that the key is down, let's get our length of the content inside there. So content length equals flit message, or actually I could just say this dot val, I think it's dot length, but I'm not sure, so let's give it a shot. Alert content length. Okay. Alright, that's not how it works, so let's try maybe that. I'm not a JavaScript wizard, so I don't profess to be. Let's try this. Content length equals this dot val dot length. What I'm doing is I'm probably breaking it. In fact, I'm almost certain of it. You know what? I'm going to load up Firefox real quick, and I'm going to pause for a second, and I'll have that up in a second. Okay, here we go. We're back here again, here with Firefox, and now I can show you really how I do things. So first off, I'm going to open up the Firebug console so I can see what type of errors are happening. And there we go. We have that dot length is not a function. So string length JavaScript. Let's find out how we do it. It's just dot length. No, none of this stuff there. So let's give it another shot. All right, we have 1, 2, 3. Now it's 4. So what it does is it counts what was in there prior, and that's probably not what we want to do. We probably want to get it after it's done typing. So let's try on key up. So 1, 2, 3. Let's delete 1. Can't hit enter, or it'll think that I'm doing stuff. There we go. So that's what we want to do. So we have our content length, and then our let's set our current length, or let's not call it current length. Let's call it remaining equals. And now let's go in and grab the value right here, the car count. So let's do .html, and I believe that's what we do. So let's do remaining minus content length. I'm not sure if I'm going to run into a type issue here. Nope, I'm not. So there we go. Okay. So now all we need to do is update that. So let's just set, actually, instead of remaining, we don't want that value because we know it's 140 characters. We're going to just say 140 minus the content length. So that's how much is remaining. And now we can go ahead and put back in that car count the value, which is remaining. So let's go ahead and refresh that. There we go. Now what happens when it goes past? Just like Twitter, I think. So let's go to Twitter. Let's log in. And let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, looks like they turn red. They go from gray to black, or like a dark red to a red. Alright, so it turns like a darker color at 20, and then it turns a even brighter color at 9. Alright, so let's go ahead and add that. If remaining is less than 21 and remaining is greater than 9, it's car count dot add style, and we'll call it dark red. Okay, and else if, now let's just say if it's less than or equal to 9, or less than or equal to 9, car count dot add class, as red, and else let's say car count dot remove class dark red dot remove class red. Now of course we're going to need to remove the dark red here, and we're going to need to remove the red here. So okay, so that should do it for us. Now we just need to open up our application.css and do let's do h2.dark red, and as I showed you before, we have the Color Schemer Studio. Love it, best app out there. And what I can do is just use the color picker and get the exact color that they use. So this one is right there. Let's see here. Color, or if we have that one, let's grab the color. Is dark red. So actually that is our dark red. Okay. Actually, I think these are 3s. Red, and there we go. Let's give it a shot. Okay. So blah 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 blah. I love to set messages, and it didn't work. What happened? What happened here? Let's go back to our JavaScript. If remaining is less than 21 and remaining is greater than 9, between 21 and 9. Let's go ahead and do an alert. I do alerts all the time when I'm playing with JavaScript because it's the easiest way to get instant feedback. There we go. So that did work. What could be happening here is because I'm using an embedded style, which is probably the reason why you don't do it. So let's go ahead and change our car count in here to be an actual style sheet style. See, you guys don't need to comment about how bad my CSS skills are, because I've corrected my own problem. There we go. I've learned the follies of my way. So there we go. If we have that, I can remove the complete style list, and probably what happened? Font weight bold. Car count. ID equals car count. Let's see here. I'm not seeing something. I don't know what it is, but I'm not seeing it. Huh. Interesting. Let's try that. Weird. Somewhere I must be setting the size of the H2, and it must not like that I'm overwriting it. So you set an important tag on there, and it will change it for you. All right, that should be read by now. So let's go back to our code and car count. Add. I know we're adding the class. Let's see. Let's take a look at our jQuery documentation. And we're going to do attributes. Actually, I guess I have a CSS one here. So I should have stuck with my gut. Attributes. We have an add class and a remove class. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing add class dark red, remove class dark red. Let's take that out and see if maybe that's the problem. I don't know. We'll find out. Here. Okay. Let's see here. What happens if we do this? Doesn't change it. Well, that might be a problem. So let's stick an important tag on the end there. And now see. There we go. That's why it wasn't working. So somewhere in here I'm setting up the color, and for some reason it's maybe I have an important tag there, because it shouldn't be doing that, and I don't know what's going on, but it's not the topic of this screencast, so I'm not going to worry about it. There we go. So we're down to our, let me remove this alert. So we're down here. Let me remove our dark red class. And here we go again. Last time. Hopefully this will work. There we go. Oh, there we go. Haha. All right, we're good. So now that's a mistake right there, is that we shouldn't allow anything over 140 characters. So what we want to do is truncate the message down when it gets added. So we're going to go to the Flits controller where it has create, and we're going to go ahead and update the let's see here, params flit. What is our flit param going to be? So let's view the selection source. It comes in as flit message. So we have params flit. So now let's just set flit.message equals flit.message. And I think you can do this. Let's try it in IRB. Okay, so let's get a really long string, or let's just say whatever string equals that. So string. So yeah, that does work. So we're going to cut it off at 140. So now let's try this again. Let's add the same message that we know was quite a bit further, quite a bit longer. It's 192 characters. So let's add that, and now we have a message that should be 140, but it's 142. So, well, good enough. you get the idea. All right, so now let's move on a little bit. Now we want to be able to find other friends, or let's say we want to add friends and remove friends. So if we have, let's go in and find a couple of people that we know exist. So all right, Peyton Killback. We know he exists. So if we go to Peyton Killback, we want to be able to see his messages there. So just like if we went to this guy, sorry, Jen Beatty, you are now in my screencast. All right, so we come here and we show a link saying if we want to follow or not, and then we have the last one really big, and then before that we have all of their messages. So let's go ahead and do that with our good time friend Peyton Killback. All right, so we're going to have a similar layout. Let's see here. Let's create a show page, and let's come up here, and we're going to say user equals user dot find by username, and then we're going to say the flits are that user's and the last flit equals actually we don't need that. Okay, so here we go. We have our show. Now notice I added the params username. I know that that'll work because I'm going to add it into our routes. So let's go right before this one, and we're going to say map dot user flits, and then we'll say /: username, and our controller is home, and our action is show. Okay, so there we go. We have user flits path that we can hit, username passing in as a parameter. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so if we hit refresh here, there we go. We know it's working. You can see we have find user where username is Peyton Killback, and then it goes through and selects all the flits. Now we're not showing any of them right now, but we will. So why don't we take what we have in here and let's create a partial from it, because we don't need for this flits list we're going to want to be able to use it in partials. So I typically, well, because it is a UL, I'm going to take the whole thing out and let's create a new partial from it. So flits list. Okay, and we're going to pass in the flit, so we're going to remove the @ sign there, and that's because when we pass in a parameter we don't need the @ sign. It's no longer an instance variable. And right here we're going to do render partial is flits list locals. Now I know that there's new fancier ways to do this in Rails, but I really prefer this way because I know this way. Eventually I'll get around to the new way, but not today. Okay, so we're going to say flits is flits. Okay, so now we can get rid of this. Let's make sure that it still works on our home page. Right here, see no changes, except it looks like we have that mess, which we need to figure out first. So let's go to our flits list, and you see we have a flit message container. Well, obviously the container doesn't realize that it's not supposed to be that long. So it needs to be about 455 characters long, maybe down to 450. So let's go back to our application in CSS. Okay. And flip message container. Right here, we need to set our width. And what was it? It was let's do 450. So refresh this. There we go. No problem. So we're all taken care of there. We know it's never going to go beyond that. We're okay. Okay, so now let's go back to our patent killback page. And first things first, let's add in our partial so that we can see something. All right. Okay, hit refresh. All right, there's all patents flip messages there. Okay, so what else do we need? Let's look. All right, so we need the big picture and the big name at the top. Easy. Okay, so the big picture, we're going to use our Gravatar plugin here, and let's do. Let's create an image Gravatar URL. User.gravatar URL. Now, I believe we were passing in an ID. Maybe we weren't passing in an ID. Yeah, so we were passing in an ID right there. Right, I'm not going to worry about it right now, but there are ways I'm sure that we could work around that. But anyway, then we're going to do user.username. That didn't work. So why didn't that work? Line 1, we're having a problem here. Okay, so we have user, and our error is flit doesn't exist for action view base. What line is this on? So that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. All right, well, let's see where our problem is. Try that. See if it works. Doesn't work. Try that. See if it works. It works. Okay, there's our problem. That didn't make any sense. Perfect. All right. So let's take this H1 and bump it over, wrap it around here. Yes, you can put images within H1 tags and stuff like that. And let's see. All right. Well, we just want to align it to the top, so let's set our align to the top, and there we go. So we have our image and our icon, or our image and our name. Okay, so now that we have that, let's worry about this part. And let's see here. If we wanted to make this fancy looking, I'm just looking at how this all works. I'm not going to worry about this. So we need a button that says follow me, and if we're following it, we need a button that just says we're following already. So let's go take our button from our from right here. Now let's actually, I'm going to grab this whole thing for right now, and let's just say form tag. Actually, I don't know what I'm going to do there yet. I'll figure it out. For right now, let's I'll just do that for right now, and take that out, and so we're going to set the value here is not following. Click to follow, and let's see how this looks. All right, it looks okay. It's just not very long. It's just shrinking down to not following. Okay, so we're not following this person. But now when we click that, we want to make it follow, and if we click it again, we want to make it so it doesn't follow. To do that, I guess first thing I want to do is make it so that this will show following or not following based on if we have it. So let's do this. Let's say current user dot friends dot include. Wait, I think I wrote an easier way to do that. Add friend. So let's just write a little helper method called isFriend, and we'll pass in the friend. So what we want to do is return friendships dot include friend. So all right, so now we have an isFriend. There we go, and we have current user dot isFriend user, and then we'll have the if they are a friend, then we're going to have following, and if they're not, we're going to have not following. Okay, so this might not work. Nope, didn't work. Okay, what do we got wrong here? Let me wrap this around that, and that didn't work. Let's see here. Let's just make sure this step right here is working. So let's go back to here, and let me restart this. And u equals user dot first, and then u dot is friend user dot last. So and then so that returns false. Now if we say u dot friends, add the last person to the friends. Now I think I need to reload it actually. User dot first, and then u dot is friend user dot last. Didn't work. So let's find out what's going on. Let's take a look at the query that was run. Okay, that didn't work either, so maybe my method is wrong. Let me take a look at u.friends, and let's see who the last user is. The last user is me, Cavneb, and you see that they are friends. So u.friends.include user.last is true, so u.isFriend user.last is false. That just doesn't make any sense at all. Let's go here. isFriend self.friendships. We're not looking for friendships, we're looking for friends. Okay, let's try it again. So u.isFriend, or u equals user.last, u.isFriend user.last. Oh, u equals user.first, and then there we go. Now it's working. So let's refresh this right here, and hopefully we can figure out what's going wrong. All right. So now that we know that it's not the method, why don't we look and find out maybe my obviously my code here is incorrect. f.submit. Okay. So does this return a string? Well, again, I like to get things done and not focus too much on the parts that take a little bit longer. So if current user dot is friend user, then we're just going to go ahead and create the following button, and else. Alright. This is not only a screencast on what to do, it's also what not to do. So there you go. So currently Peyton Killback is not on my following list according to this. And to make sure of that, oops, let's close this out. To make sure of that, let's take a look one more time. Say u equals user dot last. So u dot is friend user dot first. Nope, they're not. So if we went u dot friends user dot first, now if we come back here, refresh, there we go. We are currently following. So moving right along. So we're currently following. We click that. We want to unfollow. Okay, so let's say we're going to do form tag, and we're going to create a path called toggle follow path. And we don't need that, and we don't need that. So let's get rid of that and that. So toggle follow path. We're going to go to our routes, and we need to add it. So map.toggle follow, and we're going to do it will show up as actually it really doesn't matter what it shows up as, but we'll do home. Actually we're going to do username slash follow or toggle follow, so that way we can pass in our username automatically and we'll still be able to do that. So controller is home, action is toggle follow. So let's go here and toggle follow, and then let's just render our params so we can take a look and see what we get when we do that. Alright, so we click following, there we go, there's our params. You see we did get our action, toggle follow, username, spate and kill back, and that's all we need to know. So okay, so user equals user dot find by username, and if current user, actually let's just create a little helper method in the user model, user dot toggle follow user, and then let's redirect to well, let's because I want the flash message, I'm gonna, instead of doing that, I will do it right here. So if current user dot is friend user, so we know that it's already friend, so we want to remove that friendship there. So let me see if I created something. So add, we have our add friend. Let's do remove friend. So friendships, we want to find, and the friend ID is friend.id, and if the friendship exists, friendship.destroy. Okay, there we go. So now we find the friendship by that friend ID, and if it does exist, we delete that. So we're going to use our remove friend method here, current user dot remove friend user, and okay. So now that we have that, we have remove friend, else we want to add friend. So current user dot add friend user, and all right. So we have that. Let's go to we want to go to what was the path? User flits path. Redirect to user flits path, passing in the user, and that'll redirect us over. But I want to set a flash message here. So flash notice equals you are no longer following. Let's add our little @ sign here. Username. Actually, let's, instead of using that, let's do user dot username. And then right here we want to say you are now following username. Okay, so we have that. Let's give it a shot. Let's refresh here. Following, unknown key friend ID. That would be in our user model. So friendships.find by friend ID. I thought that friendships did have a friend ID. So let's see here. Let's look at our schema. Friendships does have a friend ID. So, and we passed in the friend. What are we trying to do here? We're trying to remove friend. So friendship equals self.friendships.find by friend ID. Remove friend.id. Let's use the debugger and see what's going on. The debugger is a great tool that we can use to basically traverse through our code and figure out what's going on. So that's not going to work. Script server -u to flag the debugger. So let's hit refresh, and here we go. Now we have this. So let's take a look at friend, and the friend is a user friend.id, so we do have an ID. Let's look at self.friendships. Alright, let's run this command by hand. Unknown keys, friend ID. Okay, find friendships.find friendships dot class is an array. Array doesn't have doesn't look like that'll work. So alright, let's do it the old school method here. Alright, so hit continue and we got our exception. Alright, so friendship equals friendship.find first, where user ID equals me. And got a call coming. Hold on. Yeah, that was my sister-in-law. She wanted my wife, but my wife didn't answer her phone, so of course she calls me. Anyway, okay. So when I have user ID equals this, and friend ID equals that. So self.id and friend.id, that should work. Let's give that a shot. Script server, let's come back over here and refresh. Nil.all flits. And the reason that happened is because it's looking, I believe, for a username and not a user on the redirect. I should have thought of that. So we want to set username. Okay. Let's try this again. Not following, following, not following, following, not following, following. You get my point. So there we go. That's how we follow. So if we go back to our page, you see right now we have just me. But if we go back to Peyton's page and we follow him, okay, we're currently following, and now we go back to our page. There we go. We see his posts in there as well. So we're getting along here pretty good. I'm going to stop it there because I know that we still have a few more things to go through, but I don't want this to be another hour screencast. So thanks. I'll try and get the next one done and wrapped up by next weekend, but I hope you learned something. I definitely learn every time I do this kind of stuff, but I got to tell you, it's really fun. And if any of you guys do have any interest in helping out on writing screencasts, please let me know. I know we've got quite a few good ones coming up, so thank you very much. This screencast is brought to you by Liquid Planner. They are an excellent project management solution that I've found and that I currently use. I highly recommend you trying them out. They have a 30-day free trial, and definitely an excellent company and a great team or a great company to work with, and an excellent product.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!